This is episode 43, and today we're going to talk about all things voice type, tessitura, and range. Welcome to Freya Singing Tips, the podcast. My name is Freya Casey, professional singer and vocal coach. I have been on stage my whole life, and I'm passionate about helping you discover the awesomeness in your own voice. Opera, musical theater, jazz, pop, folk, rock, I have done it all. And I want to give you golden nuggets of advice on how to be the master of your voice. This episode is brought to you by my online masterclass for singers, which is a 12-week intensive program in which you get every week a group training session, and also within the 3 months period, you get one one-on-one session with me intensive, and it's all about finding your natural voice, finding ease in your voice, and also about making you more critical to listen differently to other singers, to where you can actually assess your own voice much better and know what feels good in your voice and what direction do you need to take in your voice. If you want to find out more about the 12-week intensive program, you can go to my website, freyasingingtips.com. It's a small group setting. It's a maximum of 8 people. And like I said, in 12 weeks, I want to really help you discover the ease in your voice and discover which direction you should actually take. Go to my website, find out more, and apply there. All right, let's dive deep into the issue of voice type. What voice type are you? Do you know? And there has been a discussion even on Facebook, in my Facebook group, and also on my YouTube channel when I posted the video about voice types. There have been a lot of discussions going on because a lot of people still don't know what voice type they are. Do you have a high or low voice? Some people think it's only determined by your range. Well, let me tell you one thing. It is not only determined by how high or how low you can sing. Your voice type is so much more. Also, your voice type may change over your period, over your lifetime. There have been cases where a tenor becomes a baritone, or a baritone becomes a tenor, or a mezzo-soprano becomes a soprano, and vice versa. It doesn't mean you're locked in, and don't really put this limitation on yourself that you can possibly only be one thing for your whole life, and that's just what you are. Now, let me talk about how this all came about the different voice types. It actually started in classical music, and if you've ever been in a choir, you know that there's a basic division of bass and tenor and alto and soprano. Those are the 4 basic voice types that are divided up when you are in a choir. So whenever you're a bass, you're a low male voice. When you're a tenor, you're a higher male voice. When you are an alto, you're a lower female voice. And the soprano is the higher female voice. However, within those categories, there are subdivisions. So if you go into classical music like opera, you will be divided up into even more categories. So a soprano is not just simply a soprano. A soprano could be a dramatic soprano. You could be a coloratura soprano. You could be a lyric soprano. You could be a lyric coloratura soprano. You could be a dramatic coloratura soprano, which is the Queen of the Night, for example. You could be a soubrette. What are all these things? It doesn't only matter how high or low you can sing. So within even being a soprano, you could have different voice colors. And also not only voice colors, whether you have a lighter or darker color. Also, your agility abilities are determine your voice type. A coloratura soprano typically sings a lot of coloraturas and melismas and, things that are very fast moving. So if that's your strength, you may be a coloratura soprano. You could be a coloratura soprano with a lighter or darker color, but the agility is very important. And also within the tenor range, there are some tenors that are lighter, lighter, and some are like a lyric tenor is a little bit more on the, like it says, on the lyric side. It's, it's not really dark, but it's not very light. It's lyric, long lines, beautiful voice color, rich color, but not dark and not too light. You could be a Heldentenor, which is also another one. So you could be like even within the bass range, you could be a basso buffo, which is like more a comedian bass, which means you also have a little bit faster moving notes going on. There are many, many voice types. And like I said, it is determined by the character that you actually want to sing or act out at the same time. That's for opera. But now let's talk about what's the difference between actually being a soprano in classical music, and what if you only want to sing jazz and pop and soul and rock? Does it matter? I think it's not really good to define yourself as a soprano or an alto anymore, because it's not so much about how high or low or what, it's more about the expression. And that point was made in my Facebook group also, that it's not, don't define yourself just by how high or low or what voice color you are. Try to define yourself by just what is it that you want to express. And for me, in non-classical music, that is the most important thing, is not if you have a dark or light colored voice or if you can sing high or low. It's more about expressing, and then it is actually not as important what your voice color sounds, as long as you can express. I mean, you could sing Johnny Cash songs. I could sing Johnny Cash songs. I don't have a voice like Johnny Cash. I don't have a low voice, but it's not about having a low voice. Singing a song like Ring of Fire, it should be about the meaning. So instead of trying to sound like another singer, which you're never going to sound like anybody and nobody's going to sound like you, try to go for the meaning of the song. So basically, I could sing any song in the world that I want to sing as long as I make it my own and I put the meaning into it. It's all about the words and the meaning you want to convey. So don't let yourself be so confined by, I'm a soprano, I'm a tenor, I'm a bass, I'm a baritone. And don't worry so much about how high or low you can sing. And guys, one more thing. It's not all about singing high. It seems like everybody's always so worried about singing higher and higher. Now, of course, going higher, there's a lot of training you can actually do trying to get higher. On the low end, you can't do so much training. It is pretty much predetermined just by the way you were made and by nature. However, I think it's not really fair to anybody to be so defined just by the high pitches. Yes, go ahead and train the high pitches, but it's not only beautiful to sing high. Now let's talk about tessitura. I just talked about range. So don't let yourself be defined by your range, whether you can sing high or low. Like how many pitches can you actually sing? You don't need a 4-octave range to be a great singer. You absolutely don't. There are a lot of singers who have a very small range. I mean, Johnny Cash being one of them, he doesn't sing in a huge range. I mean, he has like maybe 2 octaves, but he doesn't usually sing that high or low. Taylor Swift also, she doesn't have a huge range. Amy McDonald, she doesn't sing through a huge range. But it's not about that. It's about the tessitura. Now, what is tessitura? When you sing any given song, it is more about where the majority of the song takes place. And that should usually take place in a range in your voice that feels very comfortable and sounds very natural. And although you may be able to sing high, like I can sing high, it is not always the most beautiful sound in your voice. So try to find out, where does it sit? Where does your voice want to sit? Where is it that the most easy, the most comfortable color takes place? For me, when I sing popular music, it's somewhere between C and G or so. And when I sing classical music, for me, the most beautiful pitches are not when I sing lower head voice. For me, it really starts above C5. That's where my beauty of my voice really comes out and shines, because I am a high soprano, and that's where the most rich colors in my voice actually come out, and those frequencies come out to where you can really, hear it shine and all these overtones are happening. So that is a very important aspect to know. Where should your tessitura sit? Like, where should the majority of the song sit? That's also a very important thing to keep in mind whenever you choose the key for any given song that you want to sing. So it's all about your beauty, your color, and the expression that you want to put into the song. So that's all I wanted to say today. By the way, in the classical realm, it is called Fach. that's your voice type. It's Fach, that's all those subcategories with lyrical and dramatic and whatever those subcategories are. I don't even know all of them because there's so many of them. So, but anyway, I was always a lyric coloratura soprano / soubrette, which means I always got to sing those nice girls, pretty much. Not the bad, not the witches, not the old ladies, but I got to sing the young, pretty girls. That's just because they have that, I don't know. That's just the preconception. They have lighter, very pretty, agile voices. That's just what it is. I hope this really helps you a lot to determine what voice type you are, and always keep in mind, don't define yourself just by that. It's not about high singing, and it's not about putting yourself in a box. Your voice is so much more than just putting yourself in a box of I'm a tenor or I'm an alto. Don't put yourself in a box. Be free and just enjoy the music. And the most important thing, touch someone by being very expressive. Okay, one more time. If you are not in the Facebook group, please join the Facebook group. It's called Master Your Voice. Just search for it on Facebook and request to join, and I will gladly approve your request. There's, I don't know, what's about 500 people in there now? No, it's more than 500 now. There are great discussions going on there, and it's giving me all kinds of food for my brain to say, things to talk about on my podcast, on my YouTube videos, because everybody is so helpful and so supportive of one another, and I'm always amazed at the talent and the knowledge that's there. So please join the Facebook group if you have not already. And also one more thing, if you enjoy my podcast, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe, whether you are listening on Google Play or iTunes, Overcast, iHeartRadio or Stitcher Radio. Please subscribe. That way you would never miss an episode. You will automatically have it in your queue, and you will always hear the newest episode every Wednesday. And in the meantime, if you want to hear more great singing tips and you want to just stay more motivated, watch my YouTube videos, which I publish on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and sometimes in between. I also publish music of me singing, videos of me singing. So there's a lot more this year to come of me singing. So that's all I wanted to talk about today. Hope to hear you or see you soon, wherever it may be. And until next time, don't forget, always keep on singing and always keep a song in your heart. Bye for now.